Ugh. Hello, chat. I know, right? Early. Well, kinda. I for once I looked at the countdown and I was like, wait, what if I went live right at the countdown? It's the day of firsts, you know? It's our first kind of our... is it our first just chat? I guess Vetism was our first just chatting stream. We also how that went down. But you know, it's the day of doing things a little different, a little quirky. I am the quirked up white boy. Is he goated with the sauce? I have gamer subs. It feels weird not having my notepad. I don't have my notepad to refer to for when things happen. I feel scared and afraid, and I am not... This is weird. This is strange. I feel like I'm breaking a law. I shouldn't be allowed to just talk. I can just jump into it. I don't need to brace that. Okay, I don't have a background. Hang on. Okay. I was in the void. So yeah, I don't know. This week's news was mostly good. It was mostly pretty chill. There was a few dumb fucking dramas. The Niji shit is still going on, and I don't care. The nijisanji bit is like, I feel like at this point with Niji, we're at the we're at like the fucking atheist debate point, right? Where neither side care. Neither side is going to change their opinion. It's just a bunch of people angrily shouting at each other that they're wrong, and I just don't care. I don't care anymore. Unless something happens, I'm not going to mention it. I did see something about an artist scamming people, but again, other people covered that. And this week I was like, fuck it, we're just going to do positivity. And then for the stream, I'm just going to talk about whatever I want, and you can't stop me. Physically, emotionally, mentally, unless you're a psychic. No, sorry, would you prefer me to go back to the Lopi? I figured I should use my own model occasionally. I can, unless I'm just going to become the rabbit, I will be the new Lopi. I mean, I guess she's not really streaming, so... Someone has to fill in the role. Did you see? Yeah, IDO also got a new pink rabbit. I was like, oh no. Please don't. I should have a poll every stream, or like what'd you call it? Toggle or something for like, you guys get to vote for what model I get to use. I was thinking about that for like Twitch when I'm streaming on Twitch. Have like one of those integrated bots that's like, you guys can like pay channel points to switch models. I'm sure that wouldn't end well. End badly. It would end well. It does feel strange not having like a schedule. I don't have a notepad to go down. We don't need to do timestamps anymore. Guys, this is so real. This is so gigabase. Yeah, we are normal me. It's just me, normal me. I'm not fundraising for a bunny ear struggle. I did see Nosagi's fundraising for his first model. Or he's doing a donathon. I saw that. Also in timestamp each. Why is he boring? Wow, I'm never doing a just chatting stream again. This is okay, it's over, chat. Lopi just wants to see herself. This is so cringe. I know you're a narcissist, but you could try and hide it a little bit better. Ugh. Ugh. Lopi, pick a topic. Lopi's my... Have you guys seen that Dog stream where he made an AI, or like a bot that just spits out random subjects for him to talk about while playing Peggle? Lopi's that. I don't have the skills to make a bot do it, but I do have Lopi, who's basically a bot. You leave VTuber if you don't sit for your model at least once. I don't think I've ever simped for my VTuber. You are a bot. You're the bot. Look, you have a little wrench next to your name. That classifies you as robot. Robot. You're assigned robot at birth. Arab. Ask ChatGPT for VTuber drama topics. Wait, actually, what? What if I go? Okay, hang on. That's actually a great idea. Okay, I had a login for ChatGPT, I'm pretty sure, to use. I'm pretty sure I asked ChatGPT to like do a VTuber news topic for me. I think. Oh Oh god. Let me just use... Nope, don't want to do that. If you just go to ChatGPT, be like, what did Nijisanji do? Oh my god. Anyway, no, we're not. Since oh yeah, SCP Series 9 just came out. I saw a post on Reddit about it. I've not read any of them yet. I'm waiting. Well, to be fair, I haven't read. I think SCP Series 6 is the highest I've, or 7 for 6,000 is the highest up I've read, because I don't remember reading any like SCP 7,000 or 8,000. Because I mean, it takes time for them to get you know, any sort of steam going, but I don't know. I mean, what SCP Series 9? Because if you guys don't know, the way SCP series works is they come out in, is it increments of 1,000? I think it's increments of 1,000. Oh, is it? It's increments of 100, but I think they come out in series of 1,000. Yeah, because Series 9 is out. Okay, hang on. I need to show you. In case you're not familiar with the way fucking SCP articles work, let me show you what it looks like when you go to one and how little you can see. Oh god, why is it? I forgot how I'm not going to blind you this time. I'm enabling Dark Reader. No need to thank me. I'm something of a hero. Oh, it makes it weird yellow color. Oh, and it's made my other tab disappear. These are the things we have to deal with if we don't get a... We need dark mode SCP wiki. Mods, get on it. Okay, which one of these articles speaks to you, chat? I mean, I'm liking access denied. Rectification, kinda bussin'. Access denied though, that kinda goes hard. What about every day I see you still? That's cringe. Catastromancy. That's what I spec'd in. That's my class of choice. Me? I'm not a pyromancer. I'm not a necromancer. I'm a catastromancer. I'm the worst. Roig's Red Death, Where the Stars Went, Dead End. All the SCP articles are so... They fill me with so much happiness, you know. I'm doing the SCP... Hey, cool, I'm allowed to do the SCP thing. I promise nothing. You guys are free to leave whenever. I promise no news. I admitted at the start of stream that this is not a news stream. That time a Foundation agent was abducted into another world at war with me. Why is this a fucking light novel title? Why is bro being isekai? Oh god, what is it? What should actually be a light novel? Oh my god, it looks like a light novel SCP. Is it description? Nope, it is actually a dimension. It's not. Okay. It is a bit short for a light novel. Maybe a manga title. Light novel titles, you'd have about 3 or 4 extra sentences. I need to read some of the... Okay, no, that's the light novel title. The Wizard 2, also known as Wizard Reborn 2, Swan Fever, Ballad of the Swan Lake, Electric Avenue, The Reckoning, Revenge of the Dumbass, Tokyo Drift, Porygon Boogaloo, This Time It's Personal, Wizard Harder, Return of the Rise of the Revenge of the Planet of the Wizard. My favorite SCP article. One time the Foundation attempted to use simulacrum technology to get in. Why are these all SCP titles? Fucking light novel titles. What? Have Weebs hijacked the Weebs were already in the SCP wiki, let's be honest. The Venn diagram of Weebs and SCP enthusiasts is probably a fucking circle. Not look directly at the solar eclipse. It was in America, right? I heard that it actually causes real injuries because people look at it, and because people are in such a frenzy to drive to where they can see the eclipse that they crash into each other. Ugh. I'm actually not gonna read it. Like, as much as I would like to sit here and read SCP articles, I don't feel like I can do them enough justice, but I probably will be reading through them. At some point. Burial goods. Why is this one funky? Now I just want to read SCP articles. This isn't fair. What do you get? My favorite. I think I talked about my favorite SCP article last time. It was like the Red Reality. Did I talk about? I talked about Red Reality last time, right? I went on a long rant about it. Didn't I? Or did I? No, I went on a long rant about SCP-5000. And when day breaks, right? It was. Oh no, I talked about what comes after. I didn't rant about SCP-3001. SCP-3001 is very, yeah. Red Reality is. Sorry. Excuse me. What is time pervert? And why? I don't know if I can click it. Let's fuck it, wee ball. Oh no. Thank you, SCP Wiki, for saving the stream. Depiction of torture. Pick number 2, yeah, 8008. And let me just open this on another monitor really quick. Level 6 clearance required for time pervert. Oh god. Why? Wait, what? Why is this the photo? What is anything? This is just a man. Guys, avert your eyes. Mail on stream, avert your eyes. It's a Cognito hazard. Man. Behold, a man. Is he the time pervert? Oh, we're not talking about mail on stream, don't worry. So, SCP-3001 is a very cool SCP. Probably one of my favorites, right? And what it is basically some guy, some poor fuck. I don't know why anyone joins the SCP Foundation. I'm going to be honest. If you knew what went down, you'd be like, nah. I don't know if you can quit. I don't know if there's like a resignation form you can have. I assume if you tried earlier that like they would just make you do the forget beam and like you'd go on your life. But like, because see, if it was just risk of death, if the money was good, I'd probably consider it, because like, hey, if you're offering me like 6 figures and there's like a tiny chance I might get murdered, probably, yeah, I'd accept that. But like some of the shit that happens is like beyond, is like you're doomed for eternity to like a dimension of nails and tire irons. Like I don't think any amount of money is worth that, you know? But 3001, it was a dude who was researching space-time. This is not new. You know, read the title says there's no news. There is no news. We're not talking news. I decided this week I'm just going to be ranting about random shit to nobody. I assume, yeah, they must, but okay. Someone needs to do it to protect the world implies a level of like sort of selflessness, but like a lot of the depictions of the Foundation that we get, they're kind of the worst. So like there's one kid, I think he was like, was he Filipino or I can't remember where he was from, but there was a kid who had regeneration powers, and so the Foundation took him in and did all these fucking experiments on him, right, where they didn't give him like anesthesia, they just started like chopping into him, cutting off his hand, like seeing how much it can regenerate, right? And then they did one experiment where they're like, okay, if we inject, you know, a GPS tracking chip into his arm and then cut it off, would it regenerate the tracking chip? And it didn't. And they're like, okay, that's enough information. Let's inject him with flesh-eating bacteria. Turns out he could regenerate organic organisms. So this kid was just stuck regenerating, like his flesh would get eaten and it'd regenerate, and they couldn't amputate to get rid of it. And he just sat like in agony for a while, and then the ethics committee was like, you can't be doing that. It wasn't even unanimous, it was like 6-4. Nah, they're kind of the worst. But SCP-3001, again, we're going on tangents from tangents here, holy shit. It's this guy basically was researching like space-time like anomaly research, right? And in the process he gets kind of yeeted into the space between worlds. It's just him and his like clothes and pockets and shit, and like the machine he was working on, like this temporal, like part of the machine he was working on. All the machine he's working on can do is shine a red light and read out how long it's been. And it's just this very, very creepy... Oh, I do not need a phone call right now. It's this very, very like creepy story of like a dude just going insane, right? Like he's just going mental. And it's called Red Reality because it's a world of nothing, right? Like it's just a void. And it's actually, it uses a sort of like physics term, I think that is invented in the SCP world of like, is it Humes? I think it's Humes, which is like how real a reality is. And so he's a real person, but the reality he's in is like fucking void. So he is slowly getting like torn apart. And the only thing in that universe is him and the red light from the thing, which is why it's called Red Reality. And it's very creepy. It's just this man going insane as he slowly gets like pulled apart at the seams of his existence. It's kind of wild. It's pretty cool though. And then he tries to kill himself, but he can't. And then the worlds sort of converge again, I think because of an experiment done back at the Foundation. And the machine reappears, and so does he, but he's kind of been unmade, so his body just sort of like explodes in the procedure room in front of his wife, who, you know, was missing him. So I think he was in there for like 5 years, which is, oh my god. There's actually an SCP that kind of deals with that. It's called, I think it's called Eternity. I can't remember the number of it. Eternity 7179. Oh, so I have read something from the 7000 series. Okay, I remember that. 7179 is basically, I think, a twist on Eternity, right? And it has sort of a very Doctor Who-esque line at the end, right? Where after you die, you apparently go to like this isolated island, and there are just, it's beach and trees, there's nothing to hurt you, some pigs, and there's fruit on the trees, and the fruit apparently was made by like fucking some god that was really down for partying, because the fruit obviously feeds you, but it also like mimics cocaine and alcohol and hard drugs. And also there's 3 members of your preferred sex on the island with you. And so I think the idea of the SCP is that it's meant to be like this twist on like paradise and like what people dream of experiencing in the afterlife, where it's like this eternal happiness, like, oh my god, yay thing, right? And for like the first 5 years or so, most people do that. Like they sleep, fuck, drink, do drugs, and they can heal from anything, so there's no worry about like fucking up your body. But they are there forever, and forever means forever, and it kind of goes into like how maddening forever is by yourself, because while the things on there are like of the preferred sex and they act kind of like people, they're not really people, so they don't really offer that companionship. And yeah, no, it kind of delves into like what it would mean to be essentially just alone with your thoughts forever. So the guy that it follows, he like cuts down some wood and builds some houses, and he does some architecture, and he does some exploring, and that works for like a few hundred years, a few thousand years, and then he starts going insane, and he goes through he starts like just making contraptions to kill himself. He commits like every atrocity, and it goes to like this really cool thing where it's like 10 to the 24 years have passed, 10 to the 89 years have passed, and then it's like a Googleplex year has passed. And it's been like 1 second of eternity, which is very similar to our Doctor Who episode, Heaven Sent. And I don't know, it was very existential. Like the idea, it kind of puts into perspective, like being alone for eternity would be, it doesn't matter where you are or what's there, you would be, yeah, no thank you. I don't know if I'd prefer that or what comes after, which is basically an eternity of pain. I don't know. But yeah, there's also, if you guys have played, I haven't actually played Containment Breach. I might play Containment Breach on stream. Like I might do a stream where I just sit and play like SCP games. I haven't actually played any of the SCP games. I've only read through the wiki. But I think I think Containment Breach is Site 19, right? And I think that has the Old Man. And the Old Man is a very like famous SCP. I don't know if you guys know about him, but he is pretty popular as one of the more like typical like, oh, spooky man chasing you. But there is a theory that like the SCP-90, it's 106, isn't it? 106 is the Old Man. There's a theory that he is the guy from Red Reality, who after kind of being stuck in that dimension kind of just turns into an SCP himself. And so when the Old Man like pulls people through into his dimension to torture them for eternity, he's actually pulling them into the red dimension. Pretty cool theory. I think VTuber is good or bad for the growing issue of prawn addiction. I don't know, man. Prawns are pretty cool. I'm not really a seafood guy myself, but like, is if you have some nice prawns with a machine. With a machine? Why did I say? Bro, okay, here's an issue I have. Sometimes my brain just substitute words. I think I meant to say sauce there. I don't know why I said machine. Why? My brain just does this where like I'll be thinking of a sentence and like trying to go through it, and my brain is like, hey, what if we swapped that word with another word and made you say that instead? Wouldn't that be funny? And no, it really wouldn't be funny. Thank you, brain. The old man's whole thing is that like he has access to an alternate dimension, like a pocket dimension. And he comes into our world and sort of just yoinks people into it and then tortures them for eternity because he controls space and time in there. It's kind of uncool of him, honestly. Kind of a dick move. Oh, do you know what it was? It's because I was reading through Slav's fucking message and I got to the bit where it said goon machine, and I think my brain replaced the word. It saw the word machine and was like, hey, you should read that out. That's what does it. If I read a word while I'm speaking, I will just swap the word for the word I'm saying, and yeah, torture is kind of cringe. Kind of unbased of him. He is so... honestly, kind of sad. Kind of cringe. I would not fuck the old man. But yeah, I think I kind of want to play Containment Breach. I might play it. I might do it on stream. I don't know when. I'd have to install it. And also, I'm kind of a bitch with horror games. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of... okay, I actually don't really get scared on horror games. The problem is I don't get, like, funny scared. I don't get, like, interesting scared. You know how, like, other VTubers get scared and they, like, scream and they, like, shake and they, like, throw themselves off the chair? I don't get that. I just kind of shut up. Which I know, oh my god, what's scary about that? That sounds like paradise. Fuck you. But I don't... man, I don't know. Have you read enough? I've read most of the, like, my favorite murder monster is actually the ghost. Oh, what's his name? It's like 6616 or something. The one that they've like contained but haven't really contained. It's like a guy in a sheet basically. What is its fucking name? Does anyone remember? Are there any SCP nerds in chat? Is basically like a guy in like a sheet ghost, like nope. 6096, that's the one. 6096. 6096 is kind of terrifying. I think this was written by the same guy that does like a bunch of other SCPs. Who's it by? But the way 6096 works is that it's like the organization can't contain it because essentially you can't. The SCP is like like a typical like fucking spooky ghost thing where it's just like a bed sheet on a guy with like some eyes cut out. It's basically that. But nobody knows what's underneath it. And the way it works is that like you physically cannot make any decision that would be detrimental to it. It's physically impossible. You can't harm it. You can't make any decision that would harm it. It's kind of just unbeatable. You can't pretend. You can't try and trick someone into harming it. You can't do anything that could potentially result in the harm of it, right? And so it's contained in so much as that it sits in a room voluntarily, but randomly every so often it would just decide to go and murder someone. And everyone who can see it, everyone who can make visual like contact with it, gets the urge to help it in whatever way possible. And weirdly enough, by containing it, the Foundation has kind of made it the worst, because every time the thing decides to go out and murder someone, all the MTF squads assigned to it see it and are like, oh, we should go help. And so they scout ahead and like restrain the person. It's not like a guilty person. It's just a random fucking innocent somewhere that he decides that person's got to die. And then it goes and like covers them in its sheet and eats them. And it's kind of horrific because the first ever documentation of it was it decided to kill like a 15-year-old boy, and it went into the house with the 15-year-old boy while his parents were there, and his parents held him down and kind of had to watch him get murdered brutally while being conscious the whole time. And they had to be administered amnestics because obviously they would have probably murdered themselves. It's kind of just a horrific thought. I don't know. There's something creepy about it. Like, just how do you stop? The only way I think to do it would be to hope that something stumbles across it and murders it, like an AI or like it. I think in the file it says hope for like the GOC or whatever it is called to like bomb the facility and try and murder it like without knowing what it is, because otherwise it's just you can't do anything. Yeah, so well that's the problem, is that like an AI can't physically be assigned to the SCP because it's by definition you cannot take any action to harm it. So you can't design an AI to hunt it. You can't like put an AI on it and say kill it, because that goes against it. Any SCP over 5,000 dog shit. That's objectively untrue. We're talking about one that is over 5,000 and I like it. Fuck you, Heavenly. I literally just talked about Eternity as well. I think you just have shit taste. Shit. To be fair, most of the best SCPs are the lower numbered ones, but I don't know. I like 6096, and I like the one we just talked about, Eternity. Eternity is pretty horrifying. It's fine. Heavenly's used to unbased takes. We're used to Heavenly's bad opinions on this channel. What's your favorite SCP then, Heavenly? Knowing you'd say some basic shit like SCP-96. It seems like kind of motherfucker whose favorite SCP is 173. That's what comes after. That's what do you mean she's not on there yet? Isn't Lopi's favorite SCP is SCP-173, which is... Oh wait, no, SCP-173 is the fucking containment breach Weeping Angels. My friend's going to be on the SCP list, but then she'd be over SCP-5000, which would make her dog shit by your own standard. You've immediately contradicted yourself. Hit me on. I like Red Reality. I also like SCP-999. I like the theory that SCP-999 is the son of the Scarlet King and is somehow going to be the one to kill him. I think that's funny. You like the sexy ones. You like the fox girl that wants to eat your bones. The one that wants to eat your liver. I posted about that, and then Miri decided to try and eat my liver, which was certainly an interesting interaction. I think all the like sexy SCPs are also trying to kill you. Wait, no, there was the one that was just a brothel, wasn't it? The one that was just full of like succubi. Oh no, it has a twist at the end where they're actually incubi, and it's kind of funny. I know my very own daughter, Miri Sapphire, bracket AN channel bracket whatever wants to eat my liver. I forgot it. I'm a terrible father. I'm so sorry. Oh yeah, the Yandere mannequin is weird. Lopi made a comment under my SCP tweet that was like, man, I love the monster fucker ones, but I personally haven't read that many monster fucker ones, which to me suggests that Lopi is going out of her way to find ones involving monster fuckers, which is, I mean, it's very on brand. I'm not gonna lie, that's the most Lopi shit I've ever heard of, but it's moderately concerning. I do have a daughter. The family tree is kind of a weird... I think the way I described it on Mary's stream was an incest Ouroboros. Peanut man. That is a very... that is a very Lopi thing. Isn't Dr. Bright... I saw a meme about Dr. Bright earlier that implies that his author is maybe not the best, so... Whoops. I'm trying to think what my favorite... Like, what some of the problem is, I mean... Oh no, do you know what the creepiest fucking SCP is? Tunnel Slide. Do you guys know Tunnel Slide? I think that was also in a game at one point. Have you guys read Tunnel Slide? Tunnel Slide is horrifying. Like, Tunnel Slide is basically this random ass playground slide that if you go down it most ways, it is completely normal. It is fine. But if you go down it specifically head first with your arms at your side, it teleports you just into a tunnel where you can't move and you just slowly die. But it's not just that. Every person who goes into the tunnel slide goes into the tunnel behind the person who went in it before them. So the person who's in it before them is just in front of them. Even worse, you get teleported into the tunnel at the exact same time as everybody else. So it's like a temporal anomaly where the moment you go down the slide, you get like time fucked back to the exact time that everybody went into the tunnel. So everybody goes in the tunnel at the same time. So you get to just watch as all the people in front of you slowly go quiet and die, and you're like, oh shit, I'm gonna die, and then you're dead. It's horrifying. It's actually the worst. Whoever made it is terrible. Kind of reminds me of what's the one that's there's a lot of SCPs where it's like, if you enter, you're fucked, basically. What's the one where you get buried alive? The 6502? No, not 6502. 3515. 3515, right, is this painting of like a willow tree, like a fucking naked willow tree, right, with no leaves on it. And if you fall asleep next to this painting, you wake up basically in your childhood home. You get teleported to a random place and you wake up in some childhood home of yours, wherever you grew up, with everything being the exact same, except the painting is there and the home is just buried under dirt. And so inevitably you end up digging out, right? You find a shovel and you start digging out, and you slowly start coming across your own corpses, basically past yous that have tried to get out. And it's kind of like, you can't get out. You eventually hit the tree and you just can't get any further up and you die. And then you hear behind you the next you coming. It's kind of horrific. It's being buried alive is a special kind of fucked. And the fact that you, bleh. No thank you. Terrifying. D classes kind of get fucked in SCP. It's kind of the worst. I've not actually read SCP-439. I'll add that to the list. Man, you guys read the stairway one that's at the university? SCP-6031. What one's this? I haven't read this one either. An iridium wall? $720,000. Oh, fuck, it's like a Final Destination thing. Shit, okay. Interesting. I liked, what is Avalon SCP-1? Or is it, what is Avalon? 6001 is Avalon. Avalon is interesting. Avalon basically is an alternate universe where mankind kind of made peace with the SCPs, and there's more than 10 SCP ones. There's I think 40 odd proposals at this point. There's a lot. The Orange Blob, SCP-999. SCP-999 is a good boy. The Plague Doctor isn't Plague Doctor's 43, right? I think he's cool as well. Gate Guardian is an SCP-1 proposal. I like the Avalon is like this alternate dimension where mankind kind of made friends with the SCPs, and there's all these different collectives for the different branches of the SCP organization. It's kind of interesting, and a sort of a wormhole opens up into our universe, and they make this. You get this big. It's very, very long. But you get this big thing with all the different collectives kind of voting on whether they should intervene with our world and make it better or not, and they inevitably decide not to, which is kind of a bummer. What's my favorite 001 proposal? I like the proposal that it's SCP-183, which isn't really a proposal, it's more of a theory. Oh no, it's not SCP-183. I'm terrible with the things. What's the room expander? 184. I was one off. Give me a break. I was one off. So there's a description. I think it's a separate SCP, or maybe a proposal, or maybe a tale, where basically the Foundation sends out like a spacecraft to go and explore like past light years away, right? And it goes to all the adjacent galaxies to kind of analyze them, and it notices every adjacent galaxy is just the Milky Way, but different. Like Earth will still be there, but it'll be like made out of chocolate or something. Or, you know, all the planets will be in the right spot, but they'll be made out of Swiss cheese. And there's a theory that 184, which 184 is this like hexagon thing. Hey Rexon, I wasn't joking. I'm just ranting about SCP articles, fuck you. there's this theory that SCP-184 is actually SCP-1, and that it's responsible for like the expansion of the universe, because the way SCP-1 works is if you put it in a room, it will expand the room up to 3 times, and then it will make more rooms adjacent to it. And after a while, it just starts getting shit wrong. So you have the same room, but like the desk will be made out of like glass instead of wood. And so the theory is that the reason the universe is expanding is because 184 is technically in it, and it's just making more and more Milky Ways, but everyone is a little bit wrong or a little bit different. Cool theory, very cool. Sheath of Papers is a good sheaf of papers. I forget it's pronounced differently. I never watched The Twilight Zone. The only time I watched The Twilight Zone was for an English class where they made us watch it so that we could analyze it. That's the only time I watched it. It was like the monsters on Sutton Street. Monsters. We had to analyze it for like themes or some shit. I don't know. That's the only time I watched it. It wasn't anything I watched. I like the SCP Foundation. What's my favorite SCP-1 proposal? Someone asked. I'm gonna look it up. SCP-1. What are my ones? Let me just scroll past the kill switch, which, you know, we are obviously immune to. Let's see. Scarlet King. Fishhook is interesting. Fishhook is like a choose your own adventure kind of thing. It puts you into like an ARG where you get to make a bunch of different decisions. It's kind of cool. I would recommend. You didn't really miss anything. I'm just ranting about SCPs. The World Gone Beautiful is kind of interesting. Keer Duty. Keer Duty, if there was one SCP that got made into like a movie, I would want it to be Keer Duty. Wait, is Keer Duty is the one that's like the Site 19, right? Or not Site 19, Site... Oh wait, no, it's not Keer Duty. What's the Site... Is it Site 17? No, Keer Duty is the two opposing SCP Keers kind of oppose each other and contain each other. What is the SCP with the fucking Power Rangers with Samsara? It's like Site 17. Oh fuck, I can't remember what one it's from. This is my problem, is that I read all these SCPs and then I forget. SCP-1's 1730, right? Yeah, what happened to Site 13? It's Site 13, that's one. SCP... It's 1730. Is basically this alternate universe Site 13 where they contained all of like the big boys, like the Deer and the Gate Guardian, and they just had them all contained. And then something goes horribly, horribly wrong, and they all break out. And so you just have the only way to save the world was to essentially yeet the site into a different dimension, ours. So Site 13 just appears one day, and the Foundation is obviously like, the fuck's going on? Let's go investigate it. And it's just it's full of like all the worst SCPs. Like all the Keeters are there, all of the world-ending anomalies are there. You know, 96 is there, 106 is fucking everything's there. The whole gang's here. It is the collective fuck you dimension. And so they send in a task force, and the task force dies. So obviously they send in the mole rats, and the mole rats die. And then they get fucking, what is it? Is it Tau 6? That's Samsara? I think Tau 5. They send in Samsara. Samsara is the fucking Power Rangers, right? MTF Samsara, they are clones made from the flesh of a god that just, if they die, they just regen. They come back, they get printed back out by the...
Fuck you.
SCP-8010
SCP-8010.
And Dad, what's that? Cute model, by the way. Smiley face.
Thank you for the super chat, girl. SCP-8010. See. Oh my god, it's like the dream house, the American dream house. Okay, I'll have to read this. I'm gonna have like a billion SCPs that I need to read afterwards. It's on screen? Oh, shit. Sorry, I forgot I had my screen up. I've been on my other monitor looking shit up. What was I talking about? I was yapping about something. The MTF's name. I know it's called Samsara, which is, I think, the word for like immortality. or something. It's like a karma rebirth. Yeah, it's in Buddhism. MTF is Mobile Task Force. The idea being that SCP is going to appear anywhere, so you kind of need shit mobile, and then our task force. Yeah, it's Tau 5. So basically, they're immortal sort of like beings. The idea was to take 4 volunteers, clone them, make these immortal clones of them. But I think, was it the GOC that attacked, or was it the Serpent's Hand? Someone attacked while it was going down and murdered like the original volunteers. All of their personality was wiped, but the machine stayed alive. So they ended up being these sort of blank slate, just clones who over time learn. And the idea is they're very robotic and very like not used to social cues, but they are kitted with like every cybernetic enhancement, every machine gun, flamethrowers, grenades, cybernetic arms, and if they die, they get regened. So they're like when there's an SCP that is like, oh shit, you know, we've lost 5 groups of mole rats to this thing, we need actual, you know, decent people, they send in Samsara. The sort of humorous name by other MTF groups is calling them the fucking Power Rangers, because they're like, they come in fucking 4 people just like blazing flamethrowers and grenade launchers and punching through walls and shit. It's kind of cool. And what happened to Site 13 is when that shit goes down and they lose people to it, they send in the Power Rangers, and the article just turns into a fucking action movie, which I think would be awesome to see as like a movie. It is basically Samsara trying to do like an extraction mission through all of the worst SCPs. They fight like a tentacle monster, they fight like the Gate Guardian shows up. There's a bunch of shit. It's really cool. Would recommend reading. It's just a fun read. What other SCP-1 proposals are there? What are your guys' favorite? I know When Daybreak is a very popular SCP-1 proposal. I read one the other day that was like it was SCP-1 was like the fact that they're in a fictional universe. And there's like narrative structure, so you can be like, man, what's the worst that could happen? And shit would go wrong. I think that was a proposal. Let me see, which one I've not read all of the SCP-1 proposals. World's Gone Beautiful is really cool. Is it Story of Your Life? Is that what I'm thinking of? Yeah, Story of Your Life is like the meta one. Scarlet King, classic. 36 is interesting. Hey, Lauren. SCP-4400.
SCP-4400.
SCP-4400, what is this? Next dimensional space below Palanque? Add it to the... I'll add it to the list. Oh, that I'll have to write. We'll have to give each other homework, and then afterwards we can all meet back up next week. And this is now just an SCP stream time slot. Oh, the machine that refines shit is cool. Is that 184? No, 184 is the room expander. It's something in there. It's pretty cool. It's like you put it in and it just turns shit into refined shit. SCP-343. I'm just taking SCP suggestions now. Is that just God? What was I looking up before? I was looking something up. I was looking up SCP-1 proposals. What are helpful SCPs?
SCP-662 is a good one.
Thank you for the super chat, some guy. SCP-662. Oh, the bell that you can ring and summon the butler guy to you. I remember that. I started reading that because it was included in the SCP-682, I think it is, the lizard, the immortal lizard. They tried to get him to kill it, and he was like, sorry, can't do that. What, that read, the pizza box SCP is also helpful. It's basically a pizza box that when you touch it, it spawns your ideal pizza, like whatever you want, which is cool. The coffee machine is also helpful. It's just you type in anything and it will give you that. Like you type in molten gold, it gives you a cup of molten gold. SCP-999 is just the therapy blob. It's like an orange piece of jello that if you touch it, it makes you very happy and kind of cures your PTSD, which, yeah, please. SCP-55, I think is... Yeah, just don't ask for a cup of Joe. Someone asked for a cup of Joe as, like, the euphemism or the slang term for, like, cup of coffee. And it, like, drained Joe of his blood and put it in a cup. Like, there was a guy named Joe next door. And it sucked him off. And, like, it was kind of good. I would recommend reading... I think it's 628? The 682, sorry. Fucking dyslexia. The SCP, yeah, so no, SCP loved the survival lizard. It hates it because it made it look like a moron, but it liked it because SCP-999, like when it touched 682, it made 682 not hate humans and not angry, and it laughed and it rolled on its belly and was a happy boy, and it was the funniest shit anyone's ever seen, and so it started hating 999 because he didn't, he lost his pride. What are there? 55 cures any disease. There's an apple tree that just clones whatever touches it. I'm not an SCP. I'm a real boy. There's a few helpful SCPs. There's a guy that comes to you whenever you're dying and sits with you and offers you a cigarette. What else is there? What else is there? There's a lot that are... I read one the other day that I've never read before. It's like the hero's journey or something. The book. 1 to 30.
Question: is your model based on you, or is it just a cute leader guy?
It's just a cute little guy. He's just a little... I don't have moon crescents in my eyes. I'm so sorry. I mean, other than that, it's just a guy. So I guess it could be me. I don't, unfortunately, have white hair. I could dye my hair partially white, though. I'm sure I'd look great. The hairstyle is similar, I guess, and that is just a fucking mess. And I do wear hoodies, so, give or take. SCP-1230 is this book, right? And when you open it, it, like, places you... It puts a subliminal thing in your mind. And then the next time you sleep, you dream, and you meet a man who's, like, a dungeon master. And it basically lets you dream a full fantasy novel, right? With you as a protagonist. So you get to go through like a fantasy journey, kill dragons, save the princesses. So within like 8 hours sleep, you can have years and years of adventuring and stories, and it's really cool. It's like, so it's just this man, it's depicted as like an old man inside the book who's like the narrator, the creator of the journey. And it's just completely harmless. Its only goal in life is to make people happy by letting them live out a fantasy, which is really cool. It is possible to take my hood off. Yoink. It does have a kind of sad twist, which is one guy, one of the researchers who was like a massive D&D nerd, touches the book and goes in, and he stays asleep for the longest possible. He's like asleep for like a day, I think. And then when he gets out, he immediately hangs himself. And when they go back into the SCP, they're like, what the fuck happened? And apparently the guy decided that as soon as he left, he couldn't go back to normal life, and he was just going to end it because he didn't want to go back to real life. And so the SCP deliberately tried to keep him in the dream for as long as possible, because obviously it's a friendly SCP. It didn't want him to die. And it was crying. The old man was crying and refused to have any more fantasies for anyone because he didn't want to hurt anyone else. He kept him in there for 200 years. That man was a fantasy protagonist for 200 years. And then when he got out, he was like, no, can't. Yeah, it was 200 years. It's actually kind of sad. Oh my god, what is the SCP that is like a loose collection of like vaguely mysterious stories? There's like a video game, and there's like a real life mystery, and there's like the investigation of like a cursed town, and it turns out it's just a Cognito hazard designed to get people murdered. I can't remember which. I don't know if it's an SCP-1. I don't think it's an SCP-1 proposal, but I can't remember what it was. That one was spooky. Let's see. I think it was designed as the idea of like it's meant to be an actual attack on us. Like the ones that are reading it, like the real life people reading the SCP wiki, it's meant to be, so it's designed in such a way to like pique your interest as much as possible. So it's got all the like SCP tropes of like, ooh, mysterious cult, ooh, you know, mysterious video game and all these random bits of lore, and you slowly piece it together, you're like, oh my god, and then at the end you click through like 5 different warnings not to, and it's meant to be like a memetic agent to kill you. The idea is that it's an SCP article designed specifically to kill us, the readers, who are really, really interested in SCPs. I'm still looking at SB1 proposals. Spiral Path is pretty benign. J Flags, the one that got away. I haven't read that one. Or the ones that got away. I haven't read that. I am wearing an earring. I have a red earring. I'm gonna go get a drink really quick. I will be. You can time me. I will be. How long does it take to pour a full cup of Gamer Subs? 30 seconds. Time me. I'll be back. I don't know how long it took. I did not time myself, unfortunately. 55 is the pill that cures anything, which is cool. It's not been longer than 30. Oh, okay. Well, I have Gamer Shops now, fuck you. Teddy milk and guacamole gamer fart. 55, oh, 55 seconds. I thought you were talking about SCP 55. Oh, 500 is the pill that cures. 55 is the one that you don't know what it is, except it's not round. I love the entire if you guys haven't read the Anti-Memetics Division, there's actually a video.
Penumbra, fuck you.
SCP-3935 is amazing.
Let me look this up.
I actually cussed out the author under my breath when the gimmick was revealed.
I haven't read this one, Salvation High School. I want to read all these, but I don't want this to just be me reading SCP articles, because that wouldn't be me ranting, that'd just be me doing audiobooks. But I'm keeping them all in this tab, and then I'll read them all after stream. There's actually a video now on the internet, like a video series called There Is No Anti-Memetics Division, I think it's called, which is like acted and like, it's actually done really, really well. It's pretty impressive. There's actually a few, have you guys seen SCP, oh, what's the what's like the 30-minute movie one where like they're going into a cult? I can't remember the name. There's like 3, there's Dollhouse. I remember Dollhouse. There's, oh no, I can't remember. Overlord. That's the one. Overlord is really good. It's basically like an actual movie of like an MTF division going in and like busting shit up. It's pretty pogger champoo. I would love, I don't know if that's what Containment Breach is. In Containment Breach, are you playing an MTF people? Or are you playing like a scientist? I've not played it. This is SCP babbling. It is entirely SCP babbling. I'm just annoyed. I read so much SCP and now that I'm like wanting to rant about them, I can't remember half the ones I think. I'm not. You're a D class? I thought you were actually calling me a D class. I was going to be so mad. I thought you were actually calling me a D class. I was going to. Bro, I was about to start spitting. I was about to start going ham. I was going to. Entirely uncalled for, dude. Not cool. I would not be a D class. I'd be the researcher that gets himself stuck in some sort of bullshit temporal anomaly. Where? Oh, see, because now, oh, what's the one that's like the dream? The one with the it's like the alternate dimension. Is it 2264? Nope. Oh, what is it? What is it? 3007. Dude, 3007 is so cool. So, okay, yeah, Memetic agent, blah, 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 blah. Oh no. So 3007, right, is this, like, alternate dimension. So, some people get it where you fall asleep and you get taken to this dimension here, which is like these buildings that are all surrounding this big monument in the middle, right? And there's just corpses like all around you there, which I think are presumed to be previous people who had the dream, or maybe the original inhabitants, right? And you go through it and it's this log of like this like Australian guy who goes through and he's like walking, and you get, again, I'd encourage reading that because there's a lot of lore and it's well written. But you get to the end where the ending obelisk is just this really, really good art, actually. Like, the art itself is actually pretty cool. Where's the rest of the art? That's only one of the art. Where's the rest of the art? Oh, no, that's just a thing. Okay, here's the art. It's actually really cool art. It's just really... So... And the whole... the whole point... The whole, like, idea of it is, like, there was this civilization that was really, really, like... prosperous and thriving, and they have art, and they're blessed by like a benevolent goddess, and then they go space traveling, they try and explore a different planet, and they get fucking murked by a random malevolent entity on the planet, which then goes back to their planet and starts corrupting their brains and driving them insane and killing them all. And so the goddess decides to like shelter them by sending them like basically by sending them to another dimension and then sealing it off, which is implied to be where we are. And then she dies, goddess mummy gets murked, and then the thing starts reaching into our dimension to corrupt us, and that's what the dreams are, which is kind of cool. It's kind of a cool idea. It's called the world of two artists, because you have one artist, which is this goddess, and another artist, which is the... Do you guys read the thing of like when day... Sorry, I'm tangenting. When day breaks, where there's a theory that the reason when daybreak started is because the sun loved us. Like, apparently there's another planet star somewhere that is like wanting to kill us.
SCP-230.
SCP-230. And so to say, she's like, oh no, I love them so much, I don't want them to die. So she turns us into like into the when daybreak shit. It's kind of the worst. SCP-230. A male Caucasian, 185 centimeters. It's just me. I didn't know I was an SCP. Wait, he secretes a chemical similar in composition to heroin. He really is just like me. Yeah, it's Alpha Centauri who wants to kill us, so our sun daybreaks, which is why all the people are like calling out to us to be like, oh, come touch the sun. When in fact, I don't know, would you, if, I think I'd just die, although they would just bring you back. Although it's not confirmed how much they can drag you back from death. Can you just be permanently dead and they like drag you back?
Good night, chat.
Good night, Carol.
Go to sleep. Bye
for the
from
super
Germany.
chat. Bye from Germany. Bye from Scotland. Yeah, because Europe doesn't have the daylight saving, so it's like, is it like 1 AM or like 1 AM for you? Because I'm used to like mainland Europe being like an hour ahead, but is that, you guys are actually like 2 hours ahead now because we went back because we're dumb. We decided we want to be as far away from Germany as possible. I made a tweet about Germany earlier because I had a dog's toy arrive. My parents ordered like a toy for our dog, and it arrived, and it was this, and it floats. So at the top left it says floats, flotant, schwimmt in Wasser. So I made a tweet that was like, I'm imagining the first Germans just being like, what the fuck do we call shit that floats? I don't know, man, it swims in water. And it was... German is a funny language, dude. Funny language. Germans on their way to explain shit in the most exact way possible. What other SCPs have I read? I was debating before stream whether I should make it a, like, but whether to make it a science one or like a Skyrim lore one or an SCP one, and then we just kind of fell into the SCP hole.
Penumbra, fuck you.
I just realized False has not made an episode in 5 days. Holy crap.
Didn't
it
False
really
just
was a
upload an
white
episode
wolf.
yesterday?
Expect
But
hell
yeah,
next week.
I'm pretty sure False uploaded a video the other day. Oh no, it was 4 days ago. Yeah, holy shit, it's been a while.
Scotland.
Girl, thank you for the... That was the most mid-read of Scotland. Come on, TTS. You can do better than that. Thank you for the super chat. The least patriotic Scottish person ever. Yeah, fuck, Scotland, I guess. Sure, why not? Scotland. Absolutely no hype. You love to see it. Scotland in euros. Yeah, I'm expecting the VTubing community to kind of explode next week because we've had such a light week. But you know, occasionally you get a week off and then it comes back to bite you. Although that's why I still did the stream. I was debating like not doing the stream. I was like, if I'm not going to talk about news, why would I stream, right? Like, who the fuck cares? And then I was like, but if I don't stream and then like next week the entire world explodes, people are going to be like, Pen, you fucking asshole. So we're testing the curse now. If shit still goes down, it obviously means that I have to do specifically a news stream. If shit doesn't go down, it means I can do any stream and it's okay. So we'll keep that in mind. Other SCPs I've read, unless I don't know. We've done an hour of SCP. Would you guys want to do an hour of science tisming? I don't know what to tism about. Lopey and I need to, once Lopey gets her PC fucking set up, we might do VTism. Because that would be fun. Of us just tisming about random subjects. And then if anyone has a problem with a name, I can have Lopey as my tism card. I do not speak Scottish Gaelic. Although, okay, there's an interesting interesting thing happened a while back where there's a thing called Scots, which is I think technically classified as a language, even though it probably is more of a dialect. And there was a Scots wiki where everything was written in Scots, right? Because you get like French wiki, Italian wiki, right? And I'm not more autistic than you. You are literally the most autistic person I know. And that is saying something because I know a lot of VTubers, but you are the queen autism. But there was a wiki that was written in Scots, and it was written by an American teenage furry. Every word of that is very important to keep in mind. And like, it was just someone writing the wiki in a very, very Scottish accent.
Scotland.
Oh my god, even if you add the O's, it's still just like Scotland. Thank you for the super chat, Kuro. even if you're like add 15 O's, it's like Scotland. It was very funny. Some people were offended. Some people were like, oh my god, this is so culturally insensitive. Me personally, I found it funny. By the way, I'm planning for the stream to go for like another hour, because I saw Bree is doing a stream at like 12, I think, or 12 my time. I don't know what time it'll be for you, and I don't really care. And I haven't raided into Bree, and I want to call her a monster. I think it's Bree. I mean, isn't Bree? Oh, did she take down the schedule? I swear to God, Bree had a stream scheduled. Wow, I can't believe she would do this to me specifically. This is... Oh yeah, no, she's doing a hand cam stream. Food poisoning any percent. I want to see her get food poisoned, so... She's a VTuber, so it kind of just comes in. I appreciate the attempt. I'm going to give that super chat. I forgot I can like super chats. I'm giving that a like. Oh, okay, so the plan for VTism was like, rather than being like a talk show, which is basically what Oshi Talk is, or was. We haven't done Oshi Talk in a while. That's entirely on me. I've entirely blanked on its existence for the past like month. Tao probably wants to murder me, and that is very valid. What we were planning to do for VTism is maybe just letting Lopi and I tism about random shit on like a 30-minute timer as like an excuse to rant about random bullshit with no limit. I think it would be funny. Lopi can rant about Overwatch lore, because she does that. Look, Lopi rants about Overwatch lore anyway, and gets super excited about it, so I was like, why don't we at least channel that for content? I'm sure your fans would appreciate a crumb of content, Lopi. So, that's the plan, eventually. Of course, it's VTuber scheduling, so eventually means sometimes within the next, you know, like decade. Overwatch does have lore. It's great lore. It's 10 out of 10 lore. And Lopi will talk to you about it if you ask. Look, don't bully Lopi for her tism. That's the we're a very accepting community here for tisms, even if they are objectively the worst. I'm joking. I'm not. I might be. Could I? Potentially. What was I thinking about? Oh yeah, I was thinking about Chernobyl before stream. You guys want to talk about Chernobyl? I know it's a random topic, but I was looking that up again because I like Chernobyl was kind of wild. Chernobyl was definitely an event. I don't know if cool is the term I would use for Lopi. There's a lot of words I could use for Lopi. I don't know if cool is one of them. Because okay, in uni I did medical physics for my uni degree, and in doing so, I'll say later, Kuro. In doing so, a certified bra moment, indeed. We did a lot of about radiation. Who would have thought? And in doing a lot about radiation, you find out very quickly that the only reason we know anything about radiation at all is because a lot of people died in like Nagasaki and Hiroshima and Chernobyl and Fukushima, and it raises a very weird ethical question of like, if you could go back in time, should you stop those? Because on paper you'd be like, yeah, of course, but like, if you stop it, cancer research probably goes back like a decade or two. It's kind of wild. Because surprisingly, ethically, you're not really meant to like expose people to radiation for several, you know, days straight and see what the varying like spectrum of radiation exposure is. So the amount of data we have on it from like ethical experiments is pretty slim until we get to radiotherapy. All of it comes from like horrible, horrible tragedies of shit going wrong. Which like, ooh, weird, but useful. Chernobyl was wild though. I had to do a whole paper on Chernobyl in my master's degree, and it was it's certainly something. There was a lot wrong with Chernobyl. And it's really sad. I think Chernobyl might be one of the single biggest like long-term disasters for humanity. Not just because of all the lives lost. Tragic, obviously. But Chernobyl also like, I think it set us back like mentally decades, because people see Chernobyl and then they get so my sister, who's a smart person, she has a law degree. I was talking to her about like nuclear power the other day, and she was like, "Oh, I don't trust it. You know, it's dangerous." And it just kind of got into me like how overblown the radiation threat is, and how for the average like layperson, radiation and nuclear power is like this big scary like oh no thing. Whereas in actuality, like radiation kills far less people per gigawatt of power than most other power sources. Like outside of like green energy, like windmills and shit, wind turbines, nuclear power is probably one of the safest like radiation sources. There's a really morbid like stat in energy production that's like, I think it's like gigawatt hours per death or something like that, where you can like measure how many people have to die for a certain amount of energy. Because the sad reality is that like in any energy production method, people are going to get fucking killed. It's just like, depends on how. Some dumb motherfucker is going to fall off a wind turbine at some point, and that's one tally. Green energy has killed a person. So like you're inevitably going to have that statistic. But bro, for fucking fossil fuels kill so many fucking people. They just don't do it all at once. They're smart. They're doing like the Plague Inc. strategy. They're like being very subtle about it, because fucking the amount of cases of lung cancer and like respiratory diseases we get from the air just being fucked, right? The amount of mining accidents that happen when people like are mining for coal, or like oil refining accidents, or like oil spills, or bro, it's wild. So many people die for fossil fuels to be a thing, but because it's not like, ooh, spooky radiation, people are like, yeah, but you know, radiation is scary. It's actually not. Chernobyl was quite literally a masterclass in like fucking up. You could not I don't think you could plan a fuck up bigger than Chernobyl. So much shit went wrong, right? I feel like I need the, do you guys want, I'm gonna open up MS Paint. You're gonna get drawing penumbral. I'm gonna be artistic. Actually artistic for the first time ever. I'm gonna have MS Paint. My god, guys. Hang on, let me hide this. Let me pull up good old fashioned MS Paint, Untitled, my beloved. Let's hope that Paint can't dox me, can it? Can it? Can MS Paint dox me? Probably. Yeah, let's fuck it. Let's not fuck it. Let's find out. I'm both artistic and artistic. When I said crony in the short today, which I very rarely do because like I don't normally talk about JP Hololive, I was like, man, people are gonna talk about how crony, I say crony and crony the exact same way. And now every time I say the word crony, that's all I think of. It's, yeah, the fossil fuel to death to energy ratio is 2,620 more times more lethal than nuclear. Yeah, fossil fuels kill a metric fuck ton of people. People just don't realize it because it's like insidiously spread out through like lung cancer. But like, it kills a lot of people. So Chernobyl, the big boom. Why can I not draw? I failed to draw. I can't draw. Chat, is this real? Why is Paint lagging? What? Chat. Why is my Paint lagging? What? Okay, I have a good PC. Why is my Paint lagging? What the fuck kind of... What problem do you need to have for MS Paint to lag? I am befuddled. Is it because I've got black on white? Is that why? Do I need to like hand? How do you clear? I never use MS Paint. I'm noticing a problem. No, my cursor is like actually lagging. This is kind of crazy. What? I don't understand. I can play like modded Skyrim with like 1 million mods. I can play modern AAA games. I can't play MS Paint. PC? My guy, are you good? Hello? Am I gonna have to look up MS Paint? This is the most embarrassing moment of my gaming career. I don't, but if I close the Chrome tabs, how am I gonna know what SCP articles to read later? This is such a dilemma. Oh my god, Nintendo Music. But I'm gonna actually open up fucking Task Manager right now. What is it? Control Shift Escape for Task Manager? I think it is, right? Yeah. Okay, let's see. What does Paint consume a fuck ton of? Nothing. It's only consuming like 10% of my CPU. Why is it at 4 FPS? Hello? I am shooketh. Is it OBS? I can't. I would have never in my life would I have expected Paint to have an issue with. It's not OBS capturing. Like I've uncaptured it and it's no. But what? I don't understand. Hang on, let me close it. Let me open. Let me try. I'm doing the very time-honored tradition of opening and closing it again. It's very. It's kind of. Oh no! I am shook. Are there any tech gurus in chat that could understand why paint would be lagging? I don't... This is... Hang on. I'm bad at paint. I'm bad at the game. You can't be bad at paint. No, it's lagging even when I'm drawing black and white. This is absurd. Nothing. My PC's running fine. It's like 10% across the board. There's nothing taking up resources. It's just maybe it's running at too high a frame rate. Maybe that's the problem. It's going too high and it's like overloading itself. Wait, and where is paint settings? I didn't even know paint had settings. This has now turned into watch a moron troubleshoot paint, which I didn't think was... Oh god, why did... Okay, thank god I'm not showing my window anymore. It opened up fucking Internet Explorer? Wait, where the fuck is paint settings? Paint doesn't have any settings for me. Paint is trying to dox me. It's actively... This program is actively anti-me. It actually hates me. There's... I don't know what to call that. I don't have a word. It's anti-Scottish. It's racist. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I have a good PC. Why is it... I don't... Chat. This is the worst day of my life. I'm actually crying. Penumbra-phobic. Exactly. Scot-phobic. Scottish-phobic. I don't... Okay, no, this is a tech support post from 2009. I don't think this is... I don't think this is what we need. I don't... I'm putting this in the memes folder. Maybe this will help. No, that didn't help. I don't have two GPUs. My GPU isn't really doing anything else at the moment. It's just vibing. It was at like 70%. No, not 70%, 7%. There was nothing going on. It's only when I draw really quick. Like if I draw at a certain speed, it's fine. But the moment I try drawing quicker, it just lags the fuck out. Yeah, it's the coal companies. They've obviously got a stake in MS Paint. I'm so sad. Virus, this is so PC. This guy's paint is lagging. This is so sad. I can't believe you. Just because you have a shitty laptop that you can play on right now, Lopi, doesn't mean you have to curse me with a non-functioning PC. I actually don't know what could be caught. This is truly an issue I never thought I would have. I don't understand. I'm befuddled. Me? Yeah. Befuddled. 3D paint? Is 3D paint not in 3D though? I don't want to draw in 3D. I'm not trying to show an accurate depiction of Chernobyl. Paint 3D. This is an app. Fuck it. This works. Why does this work? Okay, well, do you know what? We can use this for now. Paint 3D works, but just general MS Paint doesn't, which is weird. I can't believe I'm going to have to troubleshoot Paint back in the year 2020. See, you say it wasn't coded in 1992, but my PC, through brute force, should be able to work something coded that long ago. I don't understand. I also don't know where anything is in Paint 3D, because I don't think I've ever used Paint. Where's the bucket? Here's the bucket. Okay. Okay. Maybe this one will dox me. Who knows? Is this gonna work? Okay, now this one won't show in OBS. I'm struggling. It's I don't think anyone has ever had this much of an issue with MS Paint ever. Maybe. Potentially ever. I think this is a first for humanity. I honestly think this will go down in songs. Songs will be written about this day when I entirely struggled with MS. I think the world just hates me. I think that's it. I think that's the problem. Is why can I not show the fucking MS Paint? Hello? Well, you don't get to see me draw. I'm sorry. I can't explain it. I need visuals. I need to be able to show Chat, it may be over. We might have lost. So we just go back to talking about SCPs. We don't get Chernobyl talk, but I want to talk about Chernobyl. This is... I'm so sad. Impromptu hand cam. Yeah, let me just pull out a hand cam really quick and I'll draw in real life for you guys to give you I don't get it. I don't understand why would Paint do this to me specifically? Online drawing tool. I'm so sad. I'm incredibly cringe. This is worse than Gore with math. No computer should ever struggle to run MS Paint. This should be like illegal in every state. Yeah, no, I don't know. MS Paint just doesn't. Magma is an online drawing tool. Okay, hang on. Art collect. Yeah, I'm definitely trying to make art right now. Where the fuck? Where's the drawing? How do you draw? This is Chat. It may be over. Maybe we go back to talking about SCPs. That makes me so sad. Why? I can't believe Paint doesn't work. I don't understand. This is the most genuinely bamboozled I think I've ever been on stream ever. I'm genuinely at a loss for words. Never in my entire life would I ever think that MS Paint would be too much for my PC to handle. I think it's not a stupid thing. It's just it's a tech issue. Do I have to uninstall Paint? Can you even uninstall Paint? Is Paint a thing you can uninstall? I thought it was just a thing that came with a PC. Don't 07 me. How dare you? I'm literally just sat in Paint wiggling my cursor around and watching it lag. And it's actually making me very sad. Don't fucking 07 me. There's got to be like a simple fix. There's got to be like there's an option I'm missing. Or something. See, the problem is, right, is that everything I look online is like, oh yeah, is obviously just using up your resources, right? You're running too many things at once. You can't. But I've played like Apex Legends while streaming, right? I've played some pretty intensive games while streaming. I played Baldur's Gate 3 while streaming, and I never had any issues. And So, like, the thought that MS Paint is more demanding than Windows I try is kind of befuddling to me. Nope, I tried using the command prompt to run it and it didn't work. Like, this has turned from me ranting about something to me just, yes, O7 is a salute. O7 is saluting someone that died. Welcome to the Twitch, Manna. How do you even install Paint? Like, we'll troubleshoot Paint afterwards. I need literally just a blank canvas to draw on. I'm gonna draw on clipping tool. I'm gonna clip I'm gonna find a white image. I'm gonna clip it in clipping tool. I'm gonna show that and draw on that. That's what we do. Or we could. Oh my god, okay. I've decided to look at an online drawing tool. You'll be interested to see what I'm drawing. Rexon I think cursed me again. I tried Paint 3D and it wouldn't show up in OBS for some reason. It's as if it uses like hardware acceleration or something and refuses to show up. Like, I have it, and then I go to my thing, and then I put it in like the active tab. Where am I? Here. I put it in here, and I click, and I'm like, Paint 3D. Look at this. And then I click it, and then it doesn't go in. So Paint lags, and Paint 3D is camera shy. And I am kind of in agony. I'm actually suffering from, not success, from the, what's the opposite of success? Failure? I'm suffering from failure. Aren't most people suffering from failure though? Anyway, look, I found a, why is it so small? That's what she said. And now I'm in, oh fuck me. Chat. Okay, I did it. I tried this, and then I don't know what the fuck I've drawn here. I don't know what this is. Look, what is this drawing tool? What is this? This is not how drawing works. What? Why does the world hate me? Why does God give his toughest battles to his best people? What drawing tool is this? It's like, like, it's meant to just be a pencil. Is the line width too long? Like, I'm genuinely confused. Why does scrolling up scroll down and scrolling down scroll up? Why does... What? Like, I am genuinely befuddled. Like, I go pencil. And I go... What if we just made this? Like... See, like, why is it draw like that? What? That's not how pencils work. Why is it drawing clockwise? Never in my life have I wanted to draw clockwise. I need it to be a pen? What? Like, how? What? Who designs an art program where this is the default option? What? I'm just gonna go lie in my bed, and do you know what? The stream over. You know, this is obviously, God obviously doesn't want me to do anything. What is I don't understand. Like, what is going on? What is that? What are these options? Okay, what about pencil? Oh, I did it. I win. I'm the best. I figured out how, guys, I figured out how to draw. Guys. Oh my god, guys, we did it. Guys, we did it, Reddit. Can I get an applause? Can I get an applause in chat? I, Penumbral, have successfully used drawing tool on stream. No need to applaud all at once. No need to I don't need a medal. I mean I'll take a medal. I don't need all the medals. Like a gold one and maybe a few gold ones. I would take those. You don't need to, guys, please. It was nothing. Honestly, anyone could have done it. You may be the dumbest VTuber alive. That's kind of harsh, man. There are some dumb fucks out there. But yeah, you're not wrong. Oh my god. What was I going to explain? Chernobyl, right. Imagine nuclear physicists trying to explain Chernobyl can't get fucking MS Paint to work, immediately discredits every opinion he's ever had. You can figure out how a nuclear reactor works, can't figure out how MS Paint works. So, how do nuclear reactors work, chat? Well, you see. So, you got like your fuel rods. I don't know why I chose to do this considering I am the worst drawer ever. But basically you have like fuel like uranium-235, which is called fissile. Basically, if it gets hit with a neutron, it gets very undaijobu and doesn't want to be uranium-236 anymore, and so it decays. And it decays and emits neutrons itself. Those neutrons can then go to adjacent fuel rods and activate them, and they hit the uranium, and that uranium breaks apart and it makes neurons, and then the uranium goes in here and you get back and forth, and you get big energy, right? But problem, neutrons emitted by uranium are too fast. They're on that cocaine, and so they can't actually, they kind of go past each other. So you need to slow them down. So you have this thing called a moderator in between, right? And this moderator can be graphite, or it can be like water, or both, like depending on. Different reactors will use different things to moderate it. But the basic idea is that it slows down the neutrons so that they can hit the rod. And I realize I've spent all this time looking for a visual aid, and I've potentially made the worst visual aid ever known to man because all I'm doing is scribbling. Welcome to the Penumbral stream, where I give quality education. Mods moderate my uranium. Do I need, hang on, do I need like, guys, it's so much better. That's where seeing mods come from, because moderators are dense like lead. Lead would be a terrible moderator. So, right, you got fuel rods. I should have color coded it actually. Holy shit. Wait, we can have different colors. Wait. I realize. Guys, wait, how do I need green. I need very green for fuel because this is uranium. Okay, so you got uranium. Like this, right? This is the fuel rod. Uranium isn't green, I know, but most people associate uranium with green, alright? So let me have this. And then you have the moderator, which will make grey. Because that's very visible. That's so visible on screen. Good job, Penumbral, picking the color that blends directly in. This is less Penumbral explains Chernobyl and more Penumbral struggle. I guess we're just gonna, no, I want water to be blue. What color's a moderator? Chat, what if you had to give mods the color, what color would you give mods? You have a chance now. Tell me what color you would have moderators be. It can't be blue, because blue, I guess it can't, but blue is what I wanted water to be. Okay, just because you guys said blue, I'm making them red. Fuck you. You don't get to tell me what to do. So, you have moderator in between. So neutron gets made in uranium, gets slowed down by the moderator, hits the uranium, it's slow enough, and gets captured. And then the here emits more neutrons, and they go through the moderator, and they slow down, and they hit them here, and it activates this. Back and forth. Basically, forever. So you need to slow it down. You can't have this permanently. Sometimes this is just water, and sometimes this is like graphite with water around it. So to stop it, surrounding the fuel rods, or sometimes surrounding bulks of fuel rods, different reactors have different designs, you have control rods. We'll make those white. There's a lot of jokes I could make there, and I'm not going to do them because I'm better than that. I'm better than that. I am. Fuck you, chat. Where's white? Why is there no white here? That's not white. That's like gray. What is this color picker? This is a weird... Does that show up on screen? I can't tell if that shows up on screen. Yeah, okay, a little bit. Whatever. These control rods are typically like boron. Basically, they capture they capture neutrons. So rather than slowing them down, they just kind of nom eat them, right? So the idea being that these can be raised or lowered. This is, most of you probably know this is basic reactor shit, but these can be raised or lowered, and if they're lowered, they block the neutrons and eat them up, and then they can't hit more uranium rods and the reaction slows down, right? Then finally, you have the coolant, which is sometimes the same as the moderator. This is like water, sometimes in and around a few rods. This absorbs the heat, and if it's the moderator, it also slows down the neutrons. Typically, if you're using it as a moderator, you use heavy water, which is like deuterium. It's H2, not H2. It's got deuterium in it, right? I think is heavier water, and it can act as a neutron slower as well. It's so good. The password of me struggling with MS Paint. Whole water is heavy. I am weak. Maybe me when I try and pick up a glass of water, my arm just snaps in half. Damn, that water sure was heavy. But no, I think they actually dope it with uranium. They like hit it with uranium, turn it into like deuterium water, so it's like not hydrogen, it's deuterium and oxygen. I think. I don't fucking know. What I look like, a waterologist to you? I'm like a water bender? Do I look like a tar to you? Anyway, basically, these things, the water heats up, right? Heats up and it gets piped out because it's also the coolant. So you have this flow of water that's getting cooled and recycled back in, and it's heating up like a heat exchanger, which is boiling water. And that water, like, I think this is a kind of, a misconception. I think most reactors, the water that's being used and the water that's being heated aren't like the same water. Like, some reactors might, but I'm pretty sure for most of them, let me look this up before I talk at my ass and embarrass myself. But I'm pretty sure it's like a heat exchanger that boils other water. But either way, water heats up, use the water, turn it into steam, turn a turbine. Turbine creates energy. Typical reactor bullshit, right? However, sometimes things go wrong. Or you talk about artificial and natural heavy water. I don't know what they use in reactors. I know basically when you're making a reactor that's like this, like a graphite moderated one, I think you can either choose to use enriched uranium, which is uranium that has been upped. The amount of uranium-235 is increased in it. Oh yeah, here's a... I open this image. Where's the open image? Yeah, here. You can see like the water is like a closed system, and then you have a second water. You have like a second water loop that is the actual one turning into steam to turn it. You don't contaminate it. That's why like the whole idea of like a reactor leaking or whatever because of the water is not true. And I went over a few streams ago that like the cooling towers actually collect water. That like the steam you see emitted from reactors is not actually the water that's being used to turn the turbines that gets recollected. The like steam is the heat making water vapor in the air. Man, going from this to this, you guys are so lucky to have me. I feel like I should have a key here or something for like the different colors. So Chernobyl, how did it happen? What's the story? Basically, what do the numbers in uranium mean? So, okay, so I was debating doing like a full explanation of like why shit is radioactive and like what it means, but 235 is the mass number of uranium. So let me see if I can find a diagram. Uranium, whatever, we don't need a diagram. Uranium has the atomic number of 92. Basically, the way elements are described is how many protons they have. right? So 92, any atom with 92 protons, it is uranium. Doesn't matter what. The 235 or the 238 is the combined mass number. It's the number of protons and the number of neutrons. So you get these things called isotopes. What an isotope is something with the same number of protons but a different number of neutrons. So uranium 235 is a isotope of uranium. It's still got 92 protons, but it has, what's 235 take 92? 140... 143, right? Fuck. Is it math? Probably, yeah. Anyway, it has that many neutrons, right? And you can add or take neutrons away, and that makes different isotopes, some of which are stable, some of which aren't. 238 is the most common one. 235 is the less common one, which is fissile. And when you hit uranium 235 with a neutron, it becomes unstable and it breaks apart into different subproducts through fission, hence why it's called a fission reaction. So when you slow neutrons down from the reaction like this, it can hit another uranium atom and cause another reaction. So the whole point, what led to Chernobyl, is they were trying to do a test because... So say you're fucking head, fuck you, Lopi. Go eat a carrot. Skill issue. I can't be mean and science at the same time. I've discovered this. My entire brain is occupied with science, and I'm trying to go through like my knowledge of nuclear reactors that I can't also be a bitch. I'm learning something about myself today, which is that apparently the part of my brain that's responsible for comebacks is the same part I devoted to nuclear reactors. It's not really a problem that you think would come up often, but apparently, for me, God's best angel, it is. Where was I? Yeah, Chernobyl. So the whole idea of Chernobyl is... let me explain the character dilemma and the narrative significance of Chernobyl. You see this water, how it's cooling the reactor. That needs to keep flowing. It has to. You can't let shit overheat and like melt, and that is bad. You need a coolant even when the reactor is shutting down. So the idea is that if, for example, the reactor was ever cut off from the grid, like there's a natural disaster, the power grid goes down, whatever, you need a way to keep the coolant pumping. And so oftentimes they'll have like diesel generators that if anything ever happens, they can kick on and pump fluid through just in case. And so what they were doing on the day of Chernobyl is they were testing to make sure the idea that what they wanted was for if the reactor was shut down, stopped making, power, the idea was that the residual energy from the turbines would keep spinning because they have momentum. The idea was to see, can you run the fuel pump, the coolant pumps, just off of that residual motion for long enough for essentially the thing to cool down. The idea being, if the power, if they were ever disconnected from the grid and the reactor had to shut down, could you effectively cool the reactor just using the residual spinning of the turbines, or do you need the extra like diesel energies, right? So they were meant to do it earlier in the day shift. This is a key point. They were meant to do it in the day shift. The day shift was meant to do the test, but there was a breakdown of like an adjacent power plant, another power plant during the day. They had to keep the plant on and working to provide power. So it actually happened during the nighttime because God forbid you delay it a day, right? And so the team that was doing it was not specially like educated in it because it was never planned for them to be doing the test. So bad start, terrible start. Some would say a bit of a skill issue on their part. And so what they do is they turn the power down to like a very, very small percentage of what the plant is capable of, with the idea being that they turn it down to get the turbine spinning, and then they see, if you shut it off, can you keep the coolant pumping? I've learned I'm terrible at speaking when I'm trying to think of sciencey things. But they go down, and because there's a thing called xenon poisoning in nuclear reactors, which is basically in uranium reactors, you get xenon forming. Xenon, is it 1, 2, 3? I can't remember. It's a xenon isotope, and basically that eats neutrons, right? So you remember how I said like neutrons have to go into the uranium and blah, blah, blah? Well, xenon forms and that eats the neutrons, and so they don't get into the uranium. And so you have this thing called xenon poisoning, which is that the longer reaction goes on and the higher the power of the reactor, the more xenon forms and the worse the reactivity gets because you have more xenon eating neutrons. Now, in normal functioning, this is an equilibrium. Xenon forms, but then xenon eats a neutron and essentially decays away, right? So for every neutron it consumes, it gets vanished. And so there's an equilibrium of xenon forming and xenon decaying that, if it's at a stable power, doesn't do anything. Problem is, when you go from full functioning reactor, like they did on the day, to very, very low power, because you're producing less neutrons, because you've lowered the power, there's the control rods are in place and you're like there's less neutrons to hit the xenon. You have way more xenon than you need for the level of neutrons you're producing, and power plummets, right? Power hits a fucking all-time low because neutrons that should be hitting the uranium are now hitting the xenon, and there's way more xenon than there should be for the level you're at, and so you hit like a rock bottom zero power, right? This was known. This was kind of, they knew that this was a thing. Is a very common misconception is that this was some wild concept. They knew about xenon poisoning. So what they did is they raised the control rods to try and increase the power, but it was still within acceptable levels. The problem is that the lower reactivity meant that the water also cooled down. And there's this thing in reactors called a void coefficient, which is just a fancy way of talking about steam. You remember how I talked about how water can act as a moderator? It can also act as a neutron capture, which in a graphite moderated reactor, because the moderation has already been done by the graphite and you don't need the water to moderate, water is effectively only really acting as a capturer of neutrons, which means if you remove the water, more neutrons can get through to the uranium and the reactivity goes up. So a positive void coefficient basically means if voids form in the water, bubbles, just call them bubbles. Why do you call them voids? You're trying to make yourself some smarter fucking scientists. If bubbles form in the water, does reactivity go up or down? In water-moderated reactors, it goes down because you lose the water, you lose the moderator, and your neutrons are zipping around like they're on crack. In a graphite-moderated reactor, though, the graphite does the moderation. The water's just getting in the way. So you get rid of the water, you get more reactivity, and you have nothing cooling it now. And so, what happened is that when power hit zero, not only was xenon poisoning a problem, but all of a sudden the voids that were in the water cooled down because reactivity went low. So there's no longer any voids. Reactivity goes even lower. And it gets, like, reactivity hits a point that the reactor should have been shut down. Like, for procedural reasons, it hit, like, I think it was like 5% of maximum load or something like that. It should have shut down. They didn't do that because it's fucking Russia and they had to meet quota and God forbid you fail the fucking Soviet Union, right? So they pushed through. And this is where they fuck up. They raise all the control rods. Because they're thinking, okay, power's still low, let's just raise control rods and get it back up. Problem. There was another thing. They also, I believe, had a lot of they had pumps, more pumps on than there should have been. Right? I don't know if they're trying to get momentum in the water or what. But basically, because the water was pumping quicker, there was less time for it to cool down, so the water entering the reactor was almost already at boiling because it didn't have time to cool. So you had the water at the bottom of the reactor was already near boiling. All of this combines, right? Xenon poisoning. The xenon slowly burns away. When the xenon slowly burns away, because all the control rods are out, reaction hits critical. It goes really, really high, really, really fast. And because it goes high, the xenon burns way faster, which means it goes higher, which means the xenon burns way faster. Then the water starts boiling, and the water boiling, because it's a positive void coefficient, the more water that boils, the higher the reactivity goes, which means it heats up more because it's hotter, because there's more reactions, which means you get more steam, which means more voids, which means it gets hotter, which means more steam, which means more voids, which means it gets hotter, and you have this very, very bad positive feedback loop of more steam, more heat, more steam, more heat, more steam, more heat, and this builds and builds and builds. And they hit what's known as they do a thing called a scram, which is basically fuck. It's the fuck button. It's called AZ5, right? And the idea is that you just slam down all the control rods. It's meant to just kill the reactor. Be like, shit's gone wrong. Please hit AZ5, kill everything. Nothing is working. The problem is that, you remember how I was talking about control rods and graphite before? Well, the control rods are made out of boron, which eats neutrons. So if I bring back the red, I think this was no the control rods were grey. I remember. So the control rods I think are kind of like this, right? The problem is they're not just that. They're tipped with graphite, like this. And this graphite is designed so that it would sit in the middle of the reactor at full extraction. Basically, it's not inherently a bad idea. It adds more control because not only do you have like the boron in full effect or boron in no effect, you also have graphite in full effect or graphite in no effect. It adds more control for the control rods. And ideally, it would let the reactor be more efficient because they're using low-grade tool. They're using low-grade fuel. So they're trying to get the most out of the fuel as possible. The problem is that graphite acts as a moderator. And when it replaces the water, it's not actually replacing water, it's replacing steam, and you get even more moderation. You no longer have the water capturing neutrons. So this increases reactivity. And so what happens when they drop it into the already like going mental reactor? These go into the bottom of the pool. This is where water's hottest because that's where it comes back in from the pump. It's not had enough time to cool because the pumps are going quick. They have too much pumping going on, right? It comes back in. It's already near boiling. It boils again. More voids, hotter, and then all of a sudden, this hottest part of the reactor gets graphite added to it, which accelerates it even more. And all of a sudden, the bottom part of this reactor is fucking boiling, and all the water in the fucking reactor just poofs into steam. And if you've ever popped a balloon, you know what happens when you put too much fucking gas into a very confined space. Eventually, it just kind of goes boom. And that's a very big achievement considering the control rods are like several tons. Like the lid of this thing is very, very heavy. And I think there's a point where all the rods are bouncing because the steam is forming and throwing them in the air. It's kind of fucked. And the thing is, the boom from the steam explosion isn't even really the worst part. At the end of the day, a steam explosion can be contained. The problem is, I didn't know this, there's actually two theories for what caused the second explosion. I'm going to go with the hydrogen theory because it makes the most sense to me. Superheated graphite in contact with steam can turn the steam into hydrogen because water is just H2O, right? There's also zirconium, which I think is a side product of uranium reactors like working. Zirconium reacts with steam as well and turns it into hydrogen. So all of a sudden you have this big chamber and it's full of graphite, which is a carbon. It's full of hydrogen, like the Hindenburg. And now you have oxygen rushing in. And if you've ever, went to science class in high school, carbon plus oxygen plus hydrogen, not the best combo. Plus a fuck ton of heat. And you've got a very, very big boom. And so it happens and it just goes up. The entire fucking reactor just goes bang. And you all of a sudden have fuel rods, control rods, graphite just being thrown everywhere into the air. It's decaying, turning into iodine and cesium, polluting the air. It's fucked. But it required a lot of steps to get there. Like, you needed bureaucratic personnel design fuck up. Like, so much has to go wrong for this to happen. If they had followed the protocol, it would have been fine. If the team that was meant to be doing it did it, it probably would have been fine. If the reactor didn't have a positive void coefficient, if it wasn't designed to get the most out of the least to maximize money, it would have went fine. It's just a fucking really unfortunate combination of incompetence and greed and just bad practice. And yeah, and then you have all the side products, all the side, honestly, more than the actual initial radiation, the long-term consequences of people being now terrified of, like, of nuclear reactors is probably one of the biggest long-term effects of this. And it's really unfortunate. Because now the average person, when we think of nuclear power plant, thinks Chernobyl, and then they go, oh no, I don't want Chernobyl, so they are against it. But in reality, this is a one in like it's not even a 1 in a million, because it's not down to chance. This is active incompetence. It's just, ugh. The Japan one was also incompetence. Less so than normal, but kind of also incompetence.
Penumbra, fuck you.
Can this be a new feature? I want to hear you do.
Just hear me yapping. I've considered doing just chatting streams because I think they'd be fun. But yeah, I mean, I could do just chatting streams where I talk about science or SCPs or Elder Scrolls lore. I'd be down for that. I don't know why not. But yeah, so there you go. There's Chernobyl. It's I like how if you were just looking at the screen, you would have no fucking clue what I'm talking about. Ooh, pretty colors. The Japan one. So from what I know, I didn't study. For full disclosure, I didn't study Fukushima as much as I did Chernobyl. It was more of a side thing on the Chernobyl incident. But from what I know, it was a similar thing of like, again, you need diesel generators to pump the fluid and run the reactor in case shit goes wrong, right? For what I know, for some fucking reason, all the diesel generators in Fukushima were on the ground floor. And when the tsunami hit, it flooded all the diesel generators. And obviously, Fukushima was disconnected from the grid because a tsunami had just hit. So there was no electrical power in the reactor. So when it shut down, I think the fluid... Yeah, no, they were in the basement, weren't they? They weren't even in the ground floor. They were in the basement. So obviously when the water came rushing in, it flooded all the generators and there was nothing pumping the fucking fluid anymore. And I think that's why it happened. Off the top of my head, again, I didn't study it as much as I did Chernobyl, but just off the top of my head, I think only one diesel generator kept pumping, if I'm remembering correctly. It was something like that, which wasn't enough. And so without power, man, no fluid gets pumped and shit overheats. Less of a disaster than Chernobyl, for sure. I think there was a lot of fear-mongering around it, though. There was, like, people being like, oh my god, the radiation is going to reach Europe. It's going to corrupt the entire world. Which, Like, yeah, the tsunami was brutal. I mean, there's certainly something to be argued about maybe not placing a nuclear power plant in a very high tsunami rate area. But, I mean, it is Japan. Like, because a nuclear power plant would probably be fine in an earthquake. I don't see an earthquake doing much to a nuclear, because it's not, like, I know it sounds kind of hubristic, but really, shit has to go very, very wrong for a reactor to fuck up. A tsunami is one of the things that probably would, if you put all the... Honestly, if the generators for it were not in the basement, I think it would have been fine. Power plants are pretty fucking sturdy. So, there's definitely an argument to make, like, hey, maybe don't put them on the coast if you're living in a country that has a lot of tsunamis, potentially. But yeah, and then all these fucking disasters, which I'd like to point out, both these disasters killed far, far less people than probably even one, like, average working day of fossil fuels. Like, okay, let's actually look this up. How many... Let's see. Air pollution from fossil fuels, power generation, transportation accounts for 5.1 million deaths a year worldwide. Right? Which is only from the air pollution. That's not even accounting like the actual like mining incidents or oil spills or oil rigs or anything, right? So if we take 5 million per year and let's divide that by 300. Let's do some math, chat. 5 million divided by 365. So but let's give it 13,000 deaths a day. Chernobyl death toll. Watch me prove myself wrong here. About 100,000, right? I was scared. I thought it was going to be like, yeah, 10 million. I don't think that's how many was like in the immediate aftermath. Yeah, 31 people, only 31 people died due to Chernobyl immediately. And UN estimates only 50 deaths can be attributed to the disaster. I think 93,000 to 200,000 is like... Yeah, it depends on how much you're willing to extrapolate, like, what, you know, what counts as a death. But yeah, for you know, comparison, 30 people died for Chernobyl. Now that's horrible, and many more were, the deaths were brutal because it was acute radiation syndrome. It's absolutely horrific. And, you know, people were dosed, there's probably cancers that you can attribute to it. But that's like 30 people compared to, you know, the several thousand per day that are killed by fossil fuels. It's not even really a contest. So, I don't know, man. People are so much more scared of, like, acute disasters like Fukushima, Chernobyl. But, like, in reality, fossil fuels are already killing more per day than any nuclear reactor disaster could probably cause. It's kind of... Yeah. Fukushima was from horrendous disaster. Like, Fukushima was just a really bad coincidence, and yes, maybe don't build reactors next to tsunami-prone coasts. Chernobyl was incompetence, though. Just complete and utter. Bad design, bad fucking government, just everything went wrong. Yeah, well, Japan swung back, and Germany swung back. And everyone swung back, and it's so sad because, like, by doing so, they've killed more people than would have ever died by nuclear reactor disasters, and it's really sad. I did not study the SL1 nuclear incident. I did Chernobyl, I did Fukushima, Hiroshima and Nagasaki we looked at a little bit. What else did I look at? I looked up some things for radiation hormesis. I looked up the, what's it called? Was it? Yeah, the Theric 25. Theric 25 was fucked. Theric 25 was basically a problem with the machine in the early days of like radiation treatment for like cancers and shit. This machine just massively overdosed patients and like fucking burned through them. Like, it actually basically hit them with a fucking radiation, like a death ray. It like burned their skin and everything. It was horrific. It went on for way longer than it should have, and is kind of one of the reasons why we are very, like, if you don't know, like, medical physicists, one of the things we would have done. I became a VTuber. I didn't become that. But one of the things they do is in hospitals, they go down and every day or not every day, it depends on the machine, but they do basic quality assurance on all the machines. So one of those is making sure it's giving the dose it says it's giving. So it's not, because this was mental. Like, this machine was absurdly dosing patients for fucking way too long. It was ridiculous. Do we want, oh, it's been 2 hours. Is Bree talking yet, or is she? I know I think Bree's one of those people that has fucking 10-hour-long waiting screens because she is a problem. Where's Briat? Suka Briat. Yeah, the machine basically was like giving people maximum dosage, which is, I mean, I think, it wasn't a Cobalt. Was it Cobalt? It wasn't a Cobalt. Were they still using Cobalt 60 back then? It's been a while since I studied Theric 25, actually. No. They were using a Linac. Where is it? Yeah, no. It was a Linac. It was in the 1970s, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, no, that was fucked. Cobalt 60 is wild. Cobalt 60 is what we used before. I made a tweet about that as well. Cobalt 60 is the thing we used before we had Linacs, which are linear accelerators. It's how we make like radiation beams. And before that, we literally just had a massive hunk of fucking radioactive Cobalt 60, which is very, very dangerous. And we basically just shielded it with lead. And if we wanted to treat people, we just unshielded it and pointed it at them. which means you're either on or off, basically, which is not ideally what you want. Whereas nowadays with Linux, we can make any sort of radiation beam that we want, really, which is good. But yeah, no, Cobalt 60 contaminants and whatnot have been kind of responsible for a lot of death and problems because, yeah, I made a tweet about it here, where this is what you see. If you ever find this, it says drop and run. Chances are, if you can read that, it says drop and run, you're probably already dead. But I mean, you might as well try. Probably throw and run would be a better thing. You like throw it and run away, like, or maybe even just throw it. I feel like you can throw it farther than you can. I don't know. Chances are, if you can read it, you're dead. But I did the math as well. This is 3,540 curies, which is a measure of activity, which there's numbers online for Cobalt 60, but I basically figured it out. From 30 centimeters away, this would kill you in about 30 seconds. Your hand's definitely gone if you pick this up. Your hand is goodbye to your hand. Also, because radiation works on the like inverse square law as well, so if you half the distance, you if you half the distance, you quadruple the dose. So if you were 15 centimeters away, it'd kill you in about 7.5 seconds. So if you were holding this, I feel like you're probably dead. Like, just GG no re. But you know, that's why it's kind of terrifying. It's why we don't really use Cobalt 60 anymore. One of the studies I did in uni was looking into something called radiation hormesis, which, like, okay, this will be the last thing I explain before we go to there's probably a clear button, but whatever. Before we go to Brie, there's this thing of like how much radiation is good for you, right? And there's a few theories. The theory that we currently use is called LNT, or linear no threshold, which is basically a straight fucking line. Pretend that's straight. Basically, the idea of, this is dose, ignore my incredible lighting, this is like risk in some generic sense. You can, I don't know, say cancer risk or whatever. What the fuck you mean as straight as me? Fuck you. I'm very straight. I'm the straightest VTuber around. Okay, you don't all need to jump on the joke. Fuck you guys. But this is LNT, right? Linear no threshold, which is linear, it's a straight line, and it doesn't have a threshold. This is 0, this is fucking whatever, right? And the idea of like, if you double the dose, you double your risk. Any dose is bad, you don't want any dose at all. And if you get any dose, you have X chance of getting cancer, double the chance. This is basically the theory we use for an entire approach to radiation medicine, which is that try and minimize dose wherever possible. So, you know, we want radiation workers to get theoretically no dose. There's a few other theories. There's linear with threshold, which is basically kind of the same, but it posits that there's maybe like an amount of radiation below of which is basically harmless. It doesn't do anything, and that the damage only actually starts past a certain threshold, hence the linear with threshold. My favorite, a little spicy topic, is called radiation hormesis, which is like this, which is kind of weird. The idea being that getting a dose in the low ranges is actually beneficial to you, in that a little bit of radiation as a treat is actually a good thing. Which seems weird, but the body has like defense mechanisms for radiation, basically. If you expose, it's like there's bystander effects and shit, whereas if you expose the body to radiation, the cells actually start adapting to and making compounds that sort of resist the effects of radiation, so the idea is that if you live in an area with a higher ambient level of radiation below a certain amount, you might actually be better predisposed to like cancer risk. And I saw a thing in China. There's a few different stories. There's stories of like countries where they live next to like a granite, or which has thorium in it and radioactive elements. And the one I studied was a case in China of like an apartment being built with contaminated steel. Basically, something had went wrong, probably at a recycling thing, right? Where some steel got contaminated with Cobalt 60, which we just went over. Cobalt-60 is like the death ray. Like, you say goodbye to your hand. Some steel had got contaminated with Cobalt-60. Now, because it was spread out over the entire fucking steel thing and wasn't just concentrated, it didn't give that much of a dose. It was very, very relatively low levels. Very much higher than average, statistically significant, but not super high. I can't remember the actual dose rate. I can't remember. It was years ago I studied it. But the residents of that building actually had a notably significant lower rate of cancer than everywhere, like the average in China. There was, specifically that building, the residents had a markedly lower rate of cancer incidence than the average Chinese citizen. And there's a few other examples around of like higher than average ambient radiation leading to an actual lower than average rate of cancer, which is weird. It's a little bit, it's not actually accepted, and I've seen things coming out disputing it and saying that all radiation is bad, but it's an interesting little theory. Radon is probably the single most deadly gas for radiation. In most ambient radiation, most of like your background radiation probably comes from inhaling radon, and it's actually very dangerous because radon decays to radium, I believe, or it's radon to radium, and radon is a gas, but radium is solid. And so what happens is you breathe in radon and it decays in your lungs, and it decays to radium, which is a solid. Radium decays by alpha decay. Alpha decay is really, really bad, but only if it's inside you, right? Alpha decay is basically like a very low penetrating sledgehammer. It is blocked by the dead skin on the surface of your body. So if it's outside your body, it won't hurt you. The general rule that I was taught is alpha decay can be blocked by your dead skin. Beta decay can generally be blocked by like a piece of paper. And gamma radiation varies, but you probably want some lead in between you and it. So alpha decay generally isn't too bad. But if you breathe it in and it sits in your lungs, it'll fucking kill you. So radon is a very, very dangerous gas that you do not want to be around. And it's unfortunate because if you look at like the reasons for ambient radiation levels, countries with basements actually, I think on average, have higher radiation levels because the radon is in the rock in the basement, and people breathe it in and get radiation dose that way. Interesting. Anyway, I think that's enough science blabbing. I've been yapping for a while. This is, I don't know, I enjoyed this. This is kind of what my news streams turn into anyway, but this way I didn't even put up a fucking, I didn't even pretend. I was like, fuck it, we're just talking. I don't know, there's so many topics I could talk about. I could talk about how MRI machines work. I could talk about, I've been reading about Elder Scrolls lore. We could talk about SCPs again. One day, I might just do an SCP reading stream where I just read out SCPs to you guys. That could be fun. Just chatting streams, man. Who'd have thought? They could be fun. I should do more of them. I won't, don't worry, they're not going to replace the news streams. It was just this week there wasn't anything I really wanted to talk about. But I might debate doing more yapping streams with, oh my god, co-host Punkalope. Oh my god, real? Oh my god, guys, she's real. She's not a figment of our imaginations. Oh wait, yeah, sorry. Quick correction. I was right to look it up. I switched it between radium and radon. Radium decays to radon, and radium's a gas and radon's a solid. I thought that, and then I didn't correct myself. So before you accuse me of spreading misinformation, I had it the wrong way around. They both sound fucking similar. Alright? The radon, radium, fuck you. Eat a gun. I don't know. Let's raid Bree. Thank you for coming to my ranting stream, my yapping stream. Thank you for attending. I hope it was interesting. I hope I didn't give you guys a headache. Maybe we'll do some in the future. I said I was going to raid into Bree as well. So here we go. She's doing a hand cam stream. Wait, do you see she has baby hands? Wait, does Bree have baby hands? Hang on. Does she have tiny little hands? Hang on. Wait.
Insides he rolls for like the butter or the spread.
Yeah, I don't need to hear Bree yapping. We're going to hear that soon enough. Wait. Oh my god, she does have tiny little baby hands. Oh my god. She's going there to spam baby hands. She definitely won't hate me after that. We should definitely raid in and spam baby hands. I'm sure she'll love me for that. She's definitely going to be very happy to see me. I'll send you over to Bree. And I thank you for coming. Thank you for attending. Probably more of these in the future. This was fun, and I apparently have a lot to say about random topics. I will also try and get MS Paint working. I'll go on a tech support. I'll go on fucking Reddit and ask why fucking Paint is lagging. Ugh. Alright. I'll catch you guys later. Bye bye.